Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX educational video breakdown. In today's video, again, we're going to stress the importance of educating yourself on the macro environment, understanding inflow and outflow of risk assets by paying attention to these fundamentals. Today, we're going to be discussing and talking about the recovery of the total digital asset space, how we have been tracking that here at CYPRX, and hopefully you all had been paying attention. With that being said, if you all enjoy these educational pieces, really showing you all how to understand risk on, risk off market sentiment, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Again, our goal here at CYPRX is to pump value out, educational content to inform individuals on how to gauge the directional bias of these markets correctly. All right. But before we get into that, I just want to read this motivational piece, this message that I sent to the private community this morning, where I said, throughout your journey, many will doubt your potential, but the true key to your success lies within your character. It is not about the odds stacked against you. It is about how you respond to both success and adversity. I've shed tears when my pockets were empty and when my bank account boasted multiple six figures. Life's challenges may ebb and flow, but what endures is how we navigate them and grow as individuals. Strive to reach a point where your radiance outshines any turmoil you may face. No more excuses. It is time to take action, to enrich your mind, your body, and your finances. The mindset for the rest of 2024 from my followers and beyond needs to be, I have to make it or make it. There is greatness to be achieved from each and every single individual who uses the knowledge that we provide here at CYPRX to their benefit. So let me show you all exactly what I'm talking about. Again, always dropping gems for you all. If you watched this previous video that I dropped a couple of days ago on the CYPRX YouTube, we had been talking about this fundamental digest, this weekly outlook that I dropped to you all on the X space. Now you can see the date. This is from May 12th, 2024. Today's date, as of time of recording, is May 15th, so 3 days later. And I said to you all, this week is make or break for risk assets. Will we see higher inflation equaling to a stronger dollar and a risk-off market mood? Let's hope we get the opposite. And I read to you all the report that we gave to our private community members. And I mentioned, for a recovery in risk assets and bullish momentum in crypto, we ideally need to see one-sided volatility in the dollar weakness driven by lower or moderating figures in both PPI and CPI data. This should be coupled with insights from Jerome Powell indicating that rate cuts are still possible if inflation decreases, alongside subdued U.S. economic activity. Supported by downbeat data like higher unemployment claims, such a scenario would likely prompt sell pressure on the dollar and increase investor appetite for risk assets. Now, again, I gave this report to you guys on May 12th. This is the importance of understanding these fundamentals, because now it is 3 days later and we're seeing the manual retail herd catch up. Now, today, we did see an increased investor appetite in risk assets as the total cryptocurrency market cap climbed over 3.5% today on the day, up to about $2.28 trillion via the intraday high that it has just most recently printed. Now, this was primarily due to the fundamental data that had come out. So real fast, just showing you guys that now the manual retail herd is catching up. You can see these fundamental reports from May 15th, 2024, going on to say Bitcoin rises alongside stocks after inflation eases in April. Bitcoin rallied on Wednesday along with major equities after cooler U.S. consumer price index data for April printed. We also see here another fundamental piece from Reuters, days after the educational piece that we put out for you all here at CYPRX, trying and attempting to educate you all on the potential possibilities of the fundamentals and how they could impact the market. We see dollar slides after U.S. CPI rises less than expected. Now, let's just cover this. So inside the private CYPRX community, every single evening, we have a pre-planned analysis and a Zoom call. Here is a quick clip from last night's Zoom call where we had predicted that the dollar would most likely experience sell pressure if the CPI data came out downbeat. On the US dollar, if the data comes out downbeat and we see lower inflationary figures, the first immediate bearish target is going to be this intraday low here. Failure to break above these previous highs, give or take some liquidity grabs above these highs, if they do come into fruition, we're most likely going to see the dollar start to correct more of this previous bullish move. I could see the dollar, if we see one-sided volatility, downbeat data, and lower inflation, the dollar at least ending the day at the low 104s. So, as we mentioned, from our pre-planned analysis, the US dollar saw significant downward volatility following the initial CPI report, hitting an intraday low of the 104.400. This drop was triggered by a combination of factors, including a decline in the CPI, a disappointing manufacturing index, and a lower than expected retail sales figure. The CPI in the US dipped to 3.4% annually in April from 3.5% in March, as reported by the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. Meanwhile, business activity in New York State also continued to decline, with the Empire State Manufacturing Survey showing a minor change in the General Business Conditions Index at negative 15.6. Retail sales month over month also fell short of market expectations, right? And remember, we mentioned to you all that this would be the most likely scenario if we saw lower inflation and downbeat US economic data. We'd most likely see bullish momentum in crypto. Here you guys can see that, and weakness in the dollar. And again, we delivered this to you all days in advance on May 12th. This just goes to show the power of education, which brings me back to the motivational piece that I just mentioned. The individuals that are tapped into what we're providing here at CYPRX will benefit. Okay, this is knowledge. This is not hopium. This is not bullish momentum, all $100 XRP price action. No, this is the realness of the market, understanding inflow and outflow. So you go and you take a look at the risk asset class as a whole. We can turn on our session indicators so we can actually see how much the crypto space appreciated in value today. So taking our measurement tool from the low when the market opened up during Asia's session, the daily candlestick printed its low, to the high. The market as of right now is up around almost 5% on the day. Now, why was this? This was primarily due to the rate cut bets remaining on the table. The market remaining optimistic that the Federal Reserve is eventually going to cut rates. So let's understand this. As a community, as my followers, we need to understand that when investors bet on rate cuts due to lower inflation, it generally signals that they expect the central bank to reduce interest rates to stimulate economic activity. Lower interest rates make borrowing cheaper and encourage businesses to invest in consumers to spend, which can boost the economy. This overall increased economic activity, again, future projections, tends to benefit risk assets, such as stocks and crypto, because it improves corporate earnings, prospects, and investor confidence. However, lower interest rates, again, projected that the Federal Reserve is on the potential cusp of cutting rates in the near future, also makes a currency, i.e., the US dollar, less attractive to foreign investors seeking a higher return. And this leads to an outflow of capital from that domestic currency, in this case, the US dollar. This outflow then reduces the demand for the currency and causes it to weaken, right? So the expectations of rate cuts due to lower inflation props up risk assets and weighs on the strength of the dollar, which is why we saw strength in the total cryptocurrency market cap and weakness today in the dollar. And we had projected this in the private CYPRX community, right? Not only that, in our pre-planned Zoom calls, we gave this information to you all ahead of time. So understand why today the total cryptocurrency market cap as a whole has increased in value. Vast majority of crypto assets across the board, albeit yes, it's nothing mind-blowingly significant, but the vast majority of assets, as you can see over here to the right-hand side, are up significantly in value from the previous day intraday lows. And so understanding these fundamentals moving forward are crucial to your longevity in this market. A lot of people, they won't pay attention to this information. But again, this information is crucial to understand inflow and outflow. When is a good time to be an investor? When's a good time to sit on your hands, right? Why is my portfolio in the red? Why is my portfolio in the green? As a mature investor, you should want to know these things. You should not want to be one of those sideline investors that's just downloading an application, sticking money into it, and hoping for some blow off top and that eventually you will become rich. Again, the individuals that partake in educating themselves on the inflow and outflow of these digital assets in the now while we're operating in a trading environment have a higher probability to survive long term than those that do not. So again, just an educational piece overall. Risk on market mood today, driven by lower inflation and downbeat US economic data, rate cut bets still remaining on the table. And as always, we gave you all this information in advance. Just goes to show that we here at CYPRX are always attempting to provide you guys with the realest information. So make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure that you're following us on the X space. Don't forget that in the next couple of days, we are releasing our DeFi University. Hopefully by the end of next week. Keep that in mind. We have so much valuable information already jam-packed in the Discord in our DeFi section. Last night alone, I dropped over 20 PDFs breaking down DeFi, going into detail on what DeFi is, educating the community on how to get involved and where to start. As always, many blessings to you guys. I cannot stress enough, now is the time for educational empowerment. The elites, the individuals out there, the ones that are in control, they're not going to teach you any of the information that we're showing you all here at CYPRX. They want you uninformed. Strive to understand the markets in which you operate in. I get it, right? This stuff is boring. This stuff is not fun. This stuff is not for everybody. But the individuals that are tapped in and are paying attention to the information that we're providing here at CYPRX will strive and thrive. As always, many blessings to you guys. I appreciate the love and the support. Make sure that you are subscribed before you head off here. Do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button, especially if you saw the previous video breakdown where we had projected the potential outcome of lower inflation and the economic impact that it would have on risk assets as a whole. And I will see you all in the next video breakdown.